Happy day, friends. We have been using Sony cameras as our main vloggies for about 2 years now. We started off with the Sony A5000.
Oh, sorry.
That's the one that we started off with, and then we ended up shooting with the Sony A5100 because that one had slow motion. That's that one.
They're almost the same except for the finish on the outside.
They both were lacking a very key feature for our workflow. We do a lot of color grading and a lot of just pretty stuff with our edits, and neither one of those cameras had picture profiles.
Tell us more about picture profiles, Hoover Dam Christina.
Picture profiles are designed to be color graded, and what it does is basically makes the image flatter so you have more dynamic range to play around with it. So we rigged the 5100, which is our previous vlogging camera, to kind of have a flatter look, but it wasn't actual picture profiles. That made editing a lot harder for me. Here by the 7 Magic Mountains, and I had a little bit of extra time to play around with the different picture profile settings. There's actually 7 of them. I thought there was only 5, but there's 7 picture profile settings, so you have so much more flexibility than I even thought. If you can't tell, I'm actually pretty stoked to play around with the different options. I'm so excited to have the flexibility to create the colors and the vibe of the video that I want to create.
Thanks, Christina. I like her. She's pretty.
Yeah.
Something really interesting about the A5100 is that it had interchangeable lens capabilities, in which you can, how do I operate this thing? Take the lens off, put a new one on. This creates some versatile shooting for the common videographer and or photographer who's using a camera, as opposed to any other tool that you would use to take a picture. This is one of the things that the RX100 Mark V does not offer because the lens is permanently sealed to the front of the camera. However, they have compensated for that by having a very versatile lens on the front. I've been very impressed with it. One huge reason why we switched from the A5000 to the A5100 was the 60 FPS capability. We're moving towards slow motion.
What's FPS, James?
That stands for filters per salamander. A salamander is an aquatic creature.
I know it, but why do they need... Oh,
because you live in a tank. That sufficed for a while, but oh no, things are always getting faster and slower. And we want to make things go slower than before. If you know what I mean. With this camera, you can shoot in 24 frames per second, which is not something you want to slow down. 60 frames per second, 120 frames per second, 240 frames per second, 480 frames per second, and 960 frames per second, even though it probably doesn't look that good. So I'm going to talk about some other fantastic reasons why we decided to switch to this camera, as well as not switch to another camera that we were looking at. Oh. Now, I recorded some really intellectual thoughts in the desert. However, it sounded like this. Wow, I want to die. So I'm going to re-record those at my desk. And by that I mean I actually just moved the camera 2 feet to the left and made the shot a bit more intimate. Hello. Hello. And Christina fell through a hole in the floor. Now in our camera selection process, we were actually looking at what I would call Sony's flagship series, which is the A7 series. They are fantastic cameras and I would love to own one. However, there's an infinitely important feature that those cameras do not possess, and that is a flip-out screen. In the practice of video making, it's easy to make a list of things in your head that you think you need that you don't. However, a flip-out screen is an incredibly important thing for the type of videos that we make. Whenever me and Christina are shooting a video of ourselves, it is so important that we see what the framing is, or else the video might look like this. Whenever me and Christina are shooting a video of ourselves, it's important that we know what the framing looks like. Or, whenever me and Christina are making a video, it's important that we know what the framing looks like. I used to shoot with a camera that did not have a flip out screen, and whenever I had a lockdown shot like this, and I had a chair, I would sit a laundry basket in the chair to try to frame up and focus the shot. Oh yeah, and I had to manually focus the shot too. Now, oh my gosh, I don't want to go back to those days. That's a good way to go into a depression coma. Are those a thing? And that is a major reason why we did not get the beautiful, well-rounded tool that is the Sony a7 Mark whatever they're at now. There was also a little surprise that came with this camera. Boop! That's a little EVF for taking photos. Isn't it cute? A viewfinder, whether electronic like you'll find in mirrorless cameras, or apparently this guy, or optical like you'll find in DSLRs, is a major tool for framing up photos for me. The existence of this baby viewfinder makes this camera a very interesting option for taking photos with. However, I had an incident the other day where I placed the camera on top of my coat in the seat of the car. I got out, I grabbed my coat. Forgetting that the camera was on top of the coat, I flung the camera across the parking lot. I heard the sound of little camera bones breaking, and the EVF took a lot of that blow. When it comes to build quality, you get what you paid for, and luckily that camera is built well. This camera, I could probably throw off the Grand Canyon. And if I set the timer, I could probably get a good photo on the way down, then grab it, and then I'm good to go. My neighbor has dog milk bones at her door. It could have been a lot worse though. Another quick couple of things that I love about this camera is it shoots 4K, which we'll use one day I'm sure. The built-in image stabilizer is fantastic. And also, it does not overheat like our previous camera did. I can record 30-minute clips on this guy, no problem. If you don't know, smaller cameras tend to have more overheating problems. This camera is in fact smaller than our previous camera, and it handles overheating better than our previous camera. Also, it handles low light really well. Hard to do. With all that said, what we want our camera to be is a bit of a Swiss Army knife. In other words, it's a flexible tool that you have with you at all times that perfectly meets the needs of the things that you're going to face on a daily basis.
The neighbors were nice.
Were they?
Oh yeah. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. This was a little bit about why we switched over to point and shoot, back to point and shoot really. If you liked this video, let me know by hitting the like button, and if you liked it enough, hit the subscribe button. Regardless, it's your decision either way, but thank you so much for watching this video in specific. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Goodbye.